Let me go ahead and say this. If that's your heaven, I don't want it. Yep. If that's your heaven, I don't want it. Listen, I'm done being polite about this. I would rather burn in the fundamentalist version of hell than worship for 1 second in the fundamentalist version of heaven. Because if your heaven is built on hating who God keeps healing, keep it. If your heaven needs scapegoats, feeds on fear, and survives by stepping on the poor, you can have it. If I've got to demonize the marginalized, discipline the traumatized, criminalize the immigrant, and dehumanize the queer just to make it through your gates, go ahead, stamp my passport for fundamentalist hell. Because I will never demonize a black man. I will never disrespect a black woman. I will never treat an undocumented immigrant worse than we treat mass murderers just because your theology needs a villain to feel righteous. Nah, not today, not ever. Hell nah. And here's the part they never want to talk about. Some of us didn't leave church because we stopped loving God. We left because we couldn't survive the version of God they handed us. Some of us didn't lose faith. We lost oxygen. We were suffocating under sermons that sounded holy but felt violent. We were bleeding out in pews that called it conviction. So don't tell me this is God. You cannot sell me a God who forgives Peter 70 times 7 but can't stand a brown body at the border. You cannot sell me a God who shows mercy to adulterers but calls LGBTQ people abominations. You cannot sell me a God who feeds the 5,000 but votes to starve the poor. That God is too small, too scared, too cruel. And let me say it out loud, clear and without apology. This is not the God of the Bible. That God is a counterfeit, a colonized caricature, a fear-based Frankenstein stitched together by power, patriarchy, and politics. Because the God of the Bible touches lepers instead of quarantining compassion, defends women instead of weaponizing scripture, crosses borders instead of blessing walls, dies for sinners instead of demanding they earn air. Jesus didn't say blessed are the correct. He said blessed are the broken. So if your version of heaven requires violence to feel holy, hatred to feel faithful, and exclusion to feel elect, miss me with that eternity. If that's your heaven, I don't want it. And that's exactly why my church, Taka Church, exists. Not to scare people into submission, but to heal people back to themselves. Not to control behavior, but to cultivate love. We practice a healthy, biblically grounded faith, what we call the doctrine of love, where love is the lens, not the loophole, and Jesus looks like Jesus again. And if you're done surviving religion and ready to encounter God without fear, you don't have to be in the room to belong. Become a virtual apostle from wherever you are. Build with us, heal with us, love with us. The links are in my bio. And if this put words into something you've been carrying, hit like, follow, and share. Because love is still holy, justice is still biblical, and Jesus is still better than the religion built in his name. Talk to y'all later.